It's just another day on the beach with the Mandalorians. Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Today we are talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 4, The Foundling. There was a lot of fun action in this episode. It moves the plot forward maybe an inch, but there were a lot of things that you get more flashback stuff, because this series seems to have flashback stuff, and I don't know, more dinosaurs. It's fun, like I said, but it moves the plot forward a skosh. There are some things in the episode I thought were just not very good, and what this makes me do is think back on seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, and which I didn't rewatch before this, and now I'm thinking, do I remember them differently? I don't know. If the last episode hadn't taken place, this episode 1 hadn't taken place, maybe I wouldn't have minded this episode as much. But those two episodes have soured me on the show. And I'm not going to just bash the episode, so please don't think that's what we're doing. But now I do look at it a lot more critically than just, I'm finally getting cool Star Wars. So, from that aspect. So, again, you do see some cool action. The look of the episode is really good. I haven't had a complaint about that during the season. The visuals in this are good. It is a really short episode, so it's like, did they spend half the budget, or all the budget, on the visuals and then leave, it's only a 33-minute episode. It's like 27 of that is the actual show. The rest of it's credits. But we do fall into some of the same problems, though, and I do want to talk about this. Because their helmets are on, they feel that they have to talk about the same thing again and again. Exposition is a real problem in this series. It makes the viewer, it treats the viewer like they're a moron and don't understand what's happening in the scene, when it's evident what's happening in the scene, especially after the first time you told us you were going to do it. So let's dive into this, and we can talk about the bits and pieces. So spoilers if you haven't seen it, and if you're just watching it through me, thank you. So the show picks up on the beach. You got a bunch of Mandalorians in training, doing sparring, all the things you do for combat training. It's on that same beach where the big dinosaur thing ate everybody, so I guess that's a thing. Bo-Katan's walking around doing her thing. Grogu's screwing around with some rocks. So Din grabs him. He's like, all right, little buddy, look, everybody else is training. You're going to train too. So he puts him over with the other, the young ones. And he's sparring off against Ragnar, who is Paz Vizslav's son. We assume it's his son. And they're playing this game of darts. The kid doesn't know what he's doing, of course. And one of the problems I have is Grogu is too much like an infant. And it just comes off as wonky. And then, so the fight scene takes place. The kid launches, it's like a quick draw kind of thing. And you have a wrist dart. And the kid shoots the Grogu twice. Then Grogu does, and Din gives him a little pep talk about, I know what you can do, kid. I've seen it. Just go ahead. So the kid does like some Yoda Jedi jump moves and then launches all 3 darts into Ragnar, the other kid. So Grogu can do all these things, yet he, like I said, he's bumbling around like a toddler most of the time. I don't like that. It's an annoying aspect of the character. So now Ragnar wanders off. He's mildly depressed. He's got his ass handed to him by a little green football. Of course, while he's wandering around, some giant winged lizard thing picks him up, flies off. Cool. This is the same kid that almost got eaten by the big crocodile thing in episode 1. So if you see this kid on the beach, get off the beach. The Mandalorians are freaked out. Of course, they go in pursuit. Their jetpacks don't make it. because they do have a range. They run on some kind of conventional fuel. They do have a range. Bo-Katan takes off in her ship, pursuing as well, but they all end up back at the beach where the creature's lair is not somewhere she could land to go in and grab the kid. Time is passing. Be mindful of this. Time is passing. So she comes up with the plan. Everybody jumps in the ship. They got to land far enough away so they don't spook the giant winged lizard thing. Otherwise, it'll kill the kid. Because this has happened before. Apparently, this is... there's a big winged creature. You still train out in the open and no one's on watch for the winged creature. That seems completely legitimate. Anyway. So Bo-Katan, Paz, Din, and War Party fly off to go get winged creature and kid. In the meantime, the armorer is hanging out with Grogu because he's too young to go on the mission. He goes with Din everywhere in the universe, but he's too young to go on this. And she's kind of talking while she's working, and Din, or the Grogu, is watching her make armor. And then there's this big pounding metal thing, and he has a little PTSD. Whoa. Back to Coruscant. I like this scene. It wasn't really necessary, but I like the scene anyway. To the Order 66 moment where you see him again as, younger Grogu, even though he looks exactly the same, with the Jedis and the Stormtroopers battling, and he gets rescued by random Jedi. Who is random Jedi? He is Kelleran Beck. The problem I have with him is he's played by the same gentleman who played Ahmed Best. That's Jar Jar Binks, by the way. So Jar Jar Binks is now a Jedi. He's not. It's just the dude, but it's kind of the point. They actually employed him again, and there's some shootout stuff. And like I said, the Coruscant scene is fun. It's a lot of flying around and shooting. That's what it is, which is kind of what Star Wars was. But again, context, there's a big gunship shooting at this little motorcycle-looking ship. It hits the engine. They're not targeting the engine. They're going to blow it up. They're going to go for the kill shot. Why would they not? They're trying to kill all the Jedi. They don't need prisoners. So things like that bothered me. And then Ahmed, the Jedi, we'll call him random faceless Jedi because that's essentially what it was, flies off with the kid, and you don't know what happens after that. So it's just that little filler part. Did it need to happen though? No, not really. You knew the basic bits. Why is Grogu so important? Apparently he's really not, unless they're saving him for some kind of sequel thing, because let's face it, he's not in the follow-up movies. So really what happens? Don't know. And again, did it really need to happen? No. So this eats up half the episode. Half of your 30-minute episode is eaten up by this flashback. Now you're forward into exposition territory. Bo, she tells them where the peak is on the beach when she lands initially, after trying to get the kid. In the ship as they're landing, she shows them the peak again and tells them where it is. When they get to the peak, they set up camp. It's getting dark though, so they're going to wait to climb. The kid needs to get rescued. It's in the hands of the claws of a giant lizard thing, but they're going to wait till morning to rescue. That's a good plan. Again, apparently this thing doesn't eat very often, or it keeps its prey alive a long time. This is bad. This is bad writing. So they're getting ready to eat dinner because, that's what you do. But the way the Mandalorians do it is they all wander off by themselves to eat because they can't take out their helmet in front of anyone. This seems like a giant security risk, and it seems really stupid. Okay, you're in a dangerous situation. Yes, we'll all wander off and eat by ourselves in the dark. Cool. Bo-Katan gets to eat by the fire because she's the leader of the war party. All right, that's fine. And Paz Vizsla respects her as such. So next morning, you get more exposition about where the nest is again for the third effing time. And they do some climbing up the mountain using their grappling hooks. And that's cool. They get up to the top. There's a big nest. The bird's not there. The reptile thing. Din gets a heat source. Paz jumps in. He's like, wait. And he's like, no, it's my son. Okay, that makes it better. You're just throwing yourself up here without knowing what it is. Of course, it's the young of the big lizard thing. They look like bird chicks, except they're giant and they want to eat everybody. Big bird thing comes back. spits up the kid who's just been riding around in its gut for this entire time. Fine. That's perfectly fine. Obviously, he'd be able to survive that. There's some freaking out in the nest. It grabs the kid. It grabs Paz. It's flying off. Everybody is chasing it again. Their jetpacks are obviously refueled at this point. So they're all circling around, shooting grappling lines into it, trying not to kill the bird, the kid or Paz. Eventually, and Bo loses some armor while this is happening, and that is actually important. Tussle. They get the kid. Everything's fine. The big lizard thing falls into the sea and gets eaten by another giant creature. The same type of creature from episode 1. Great. Back at the beach, everybody gets off the ship. Yay! You did good. Bo-Katan has the highest honor of saving a foundling. All right. Cool. Then the armor sees she needs to get some new armor made, and she goes in, wants to get the mythosaur piece. It's one of her shoulder bits of armor. And then she does open up to the armor of what she found, what she saw. The mythosaur in the living waters on Mandalore. And the armor kind of blows her off. She's like, oh, you walk the way of the Mandalore, you see things. She thinks it's a vision. She doesn't think she actually saw this. And Bo, I think, is, obviously trying to plant the seeds for her comeback, the return of Bo-Katan. So that's basically it. That's the episode. A lot of shooting, a lot of flying, a lot of running. As far as the action stuff goes, like I said, it was fun. Was it 100% necessary? No, not really. The last half more so moved the episode forward. You didn't really need that flashback thing with the kid. You just didn't. Like I said, was it fun to watch? Yeah. Did it serve a purpose? No. And many of my colleagues talk about this. If it doesn't serve a purpose, why is it in the episode? Are you going to learn, are you going to get more of Grogu's background? I don't care. In fact, Grogu is actually, I'm finding him more annoying now because of he's a toddler, but he can do Jedi stuff. All right. What do you want to write this character to be? I didn't even want to watch this episode this morning when I got up. I was like, I got to watch The Mandalorian. And it was fine. It's like, I don't feel like miserable like I did last week, but it's not like, whoo, that was a great one, because it wasn't. A lot of people are going to think it was because of all the shiny things. Don't get distracted by the shiny things over the bad writing, because that's what a lot of it really was, though. You didn't need the Coruscant bit. You didn't need all the exposition. The show needs to get past that shit. People know what they're doing. People understand what your characters are doing. You don't need to tell us 3 times. So that's it. We'll stick with it. I watched this so you don't have to, for those of you who are just enduring it through me. So I'm here for you. So for now, this has been a Roman of the Empire signing off. Please leave your comments. I'm curious to see what you thought of this one. Like and subscribe, because the channel does need it. Be kind.